I have talked about this before, but I'll mention it again. SpaceX has the potential, just because of the Elon effect and the whole aura from retail investors, that it can become like a GameStop and have a GameStop type of move. But that cannot happen until the options come out. We need options to be traded so that you can get a gamma squeeze from the options. And so the sooner those options come out, the better. But the case for a gamma squeeze does not take effect until they start trading options. Now, once they start trading options, we will see how greedy individual traders are, and whether individual retail investors buy those options, specifically the calls, to have a effect where the market makers have to hedge SpaceX with SpaceX by buying shares and creating a gamma squeeze type of effect similar to what we had in GameStop. The main dynamic that pushed GameStop up the way it did was because GameStop, once it kind of got some momentum on social media through Roaring Kitty and Reddit and so forth, the market makers could only hedge GameStop with GameStop because it was kind of its own unique individual name. It didn't have any correlation to anything, so that you could really only hedge those calls that individual investors are buying from GameStop with GameStop. Because you have this whole social media thing with the Elon effect and this Elon premium and how it's a sexy new IPO, that kind of creates the potential where there's going to be a lot of visual investors buying calls in SpaceX when those options are available to trade. And because SpaceX is a new stock, it doesn't have any definitive correlation to anything. Now, you can make an argument that it probably trades with the NASDAQ and other big cap tech stocks, which is to a certain extent true, but you can't really model that out. Think about it. How are you going to program that into your algorithms if you're a market maker? So you can only hedge, at least for a couple of days after they start trading options, you can only hedge SpaceX with SpaceX. And if you get this whole social media thing clean onto these SpaceX calls, that can really create the same type of dynamic that we saw with GameStop. So we'll see what happens. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just discussing the dynamics of the marketplace so that you can be aware of what's going on to the greatest extent possible. So, we'll see how it plays out. Tape action so far, from a pure technical standpoint, the way you keep getting higher highs and kind of each little dip gets bought, it shows to me that the demand is there. We'll see what happens. And so taking it, minute by minute, and so far, this tape action seems very, very positive. It wasn't a big position for me, but it wasn't necessarily a small position for me. I'm just going to keep them for now. Because the tape action isn't really as volatile as I expected.